And we're live very briefly, 30 minutes, because when I go over 30 minutes, you guys get super, super bored. So I thought I would talk about um, fat metabolism, but really, I want to talk about low stomach acid. What's up, Melly Mel? I want to talk about low stomach acid and gallbladder issues because that's a huge reason why you guys are not ketotic. So, what's up, Deborah? So, if you want to know why you're not actually adapting, there's at least 100 reasons, but one of the big monster ones is the fact that you guys have low stomach acid and gallbladder issues, and of course, leaky gut and histamine, right? The what is it? The round table of different kinds of nonsense that makes it very difficult to digest your fats, then to make ketones, then to use them, and as acetoacetate and beta hydroxybutyrate, so you can actually got some energy, right? And heal the body and be able to access body fat without having to be catabolic. That's the whole point of doing this stupid thing. Don't forget to like up the stream, guys. There's an X in the corner. Just hit that little X. It'll collapse the chat, and then you can hit the thumbs up and reopen the chat, and then press. So, what's up, Sandy? So, I try to make these streams fun and interesting and not too technical and clinical, because I think the stuff that I watch, I get kind of bored. I'm not going to lie. So let's try to keep it interesting. So if I were to just label the video, gallbladder and low stomach acid, I would hit a particular amount of people, and the rest would be like, I'm not interested in that. I want to know how to get the gains, right? So let's talk about that. The fun, what is it? You do make them fun and real. Thank you, energy. Okay, so here we go. Now, the amount of people I realize who have low stomach acid, and I've spoken about this ad nauseum, but not in this sort of new way. People who've got low stomach acid and they have high estrogen and they have gallbladder issues and they have leaky gut. And so when we're trying to distinguish which one you have, because one of y'all got one of them, okay, or you're not pooping, or you've got like IBS, y'all, most of the people have some or have had, or the acid reflux symptoms. A lot of you guys have had these symptoms or at one time or have them all now. And these things will block your keto adaptation like somebody trying to put up the wall south of California. Okay? I'm just saying. Just my humor. Oh, you love seeing the video with my mom. Thank you. Yes, and I'll talk about my mom as well. But I think that I'll do that in another stream, that when I put my mom in a keto protocol, I didn't know what I was doing. And so therefore, I will never say that keto cured her, because the macros that I had her doing are not what I'd have her do now. Because she's not on keto now. She's just on low carb. So here we go. And I'll take your guys' questions in a second. So essentially, if your stomach acid, is too low, it's a problem, right? If you're feeling a little bit of a pain right there on the rib cage, if you guys feel bloated or nauseous or pressure or have loose stool or floating stool, that's really indicative of having a gallbladder issue. And a lot of people are uncomfortable with eating a lot of fat. They're like, Steph, I can't. Do I have to eat all this fat? And I'm like, well, yeah, you got to eat all this fat to keto adapt. But if you actually deconstruct that idea, it's not that simple, because you might have an underlying gallbladder issue. And do not just let doctors take that organ out unless your gallbladder is severely infected with a gazillion stones and is not savable. but you just don't let them take out that organ, and they will if you do not protest it. We need that organ. And also gastric bypass people, I want to address these people, and lap band people as well. But the problem is that you need that gallbladder because it's going to help you release bile salts, and these salts are going to help break down the fat, these glumps of fat, into small enough particle size that can then enter the bloodstream via the small intestine. So unfortunately, a lot of you don't realize the importance of that. So when you have your gallbladder removed, you're fracked. You're super malabsorptive, and a lot of these people come up with low vitamin D because vitamin D is fat soluble. So a lot of you guys, and I'll go over the vitamin and mineral differences in another video, but you need vitamins and minerals for the cells to do their jobs, but you really need, and to fix the cells and heal the cells, but you really need the fat soluble vitamins that you would commonly find in fatty bits of animals. So unfortunately, even a lot of these plant vitamin, fat soluble vitamins need to be taken with fat so you can actually utilize more fully formed things of like vitamin E, for example, in plant source foods. But if they're from fatty bits of the animal, you already are right there because they're from the fat of the animal, easily and very bioavailable if you have a solid gut lining. So we need them. And a lot of you are deficient. And it's not just because you live in Arkansas or Michigan or Sweden, where I lived for många år. It's not because you live in these areas where you don't have sun all year long like I do in California. It's also because you have gallbladder issues where you can no longer absorb these fat soluble vitamins that are incredibly important for your immune system, like vitamin E, or you've got vitamin D for your immune system, but also for your bones. And you have calcium, but you don't want calcium to deposit itself and stick to everything. So you need K2 to be able to do its job. And you need other minerals like magnesium and calcium, right? You need these minerals for different reasons. And so when it comes to your fat soluble vitamins that can also work together with your minerals, if you're not absorbing anything, you're not going to adapt. So when people are like, I don't understand, I've done this diet and I'm not losing weight, I'm like, you guys, and then some people are like, this is so complicated, I can't deal with it. I'm like, life is complicated, okay? So get over it. Like, we are constantly learning, so I can't stand when people say something's too difficult. Good luck with our future, because if you can't keep up with the Joneses, you fracked. So, the gallbladder is one of the biggest problems I'm finding with a lot of people, primarily women, because unfortunately, estrogen dominant women, that excess estrogen can get trapped in the gallbladder and make the salts sludgy and sticky and form stones. And then when you try to eat the fat, maybe just with the very first slight reaction, or not reaction, but beginning to get sludge in the gallbladder with the salts, with the bile salts, is just, I'm not hungry on fat. That could be the very first mother-sucking symptom, right? Before you even feel nauseous. You start forming stones or crystals and stones, then you might develop nausea from that. And if you're infected, you run to the hospital. Okay. So the things that make the gallbladder messed up is clearly the estrogen dominance, right? It's blood sugar dysregulation. It's too much visceral fat freaking being absorbed into the organs. It's birth control pills and anything that messes with your endocrine system. It's your freaking thyroid disorder that's connected to the elbow bone, to the nose bone. No, it's your thyroid, which is also connected to your adrenals and your fight or flight system. And then the thyroid's also connected to being able to absorb your fat soluble vitamins and getting some minerals like vitamin D and zinc and selenium and iodine So it seems complicated, but when you learn these things, it helps you understand why this dietary measure works or it doesn't. Now, my mom, I put her on a ketogenic protocol to beat this deadly form of brain cancer called a glioblastoma. So it's the most aggressive brain cancer, and most people die from it. So at the time that I put her on this dietary protocol, I didn't know what I was doing. So you will never ever hear me say I cured my mother from cancer with a ketogenic diet. People will make that assumption, but I will never say that because I don't know why she survived. I'm hoping what I did by pounding fat in her mouth and taking all the carbs out and sugars out and her baking sugars helped. But my mom, trying to get her off of fruits and trying to get her off of eating things that are not organic was quite difficult because my mom would just go to produce and not look for organic. She would just buy anything. But I digress. So gallbladder, super, super important. And another big reason why a lot of women have problems with the gallbladder is because a lot of women do what? They have desk jobs where they're sitting in this C-shaped, right? They're like this. And there's not enough upper trunk circulation. And when you're estrogen dominant, that's also how the estrogen can affect the bile salts. So even the way you sit at a desk is a problem. Or you're having problems with your lymphatic system because y'all don't move enough, right? So, yes, you're not going to adapt and benefit. Like me doing this thing about, just uploading this simple little video with my mom surviving brain cancer is so important that, like, posting that video on all my social media, which my Instagram is Stephanie Ketogenic, and my Facebook is Stephanie the Business Person, and of course I run a keto course and all this stuff, and I do consultations. But when I posted this video, I'm getting like, my father, my uncle, my kid survived cancer on a ketogenic protocol. It's just friggin' epic. It's epic. So I don't like to make keto just a weight loss thing. Y'all don't realize how beneficial it is. Most people will try to do keto to lose weight. They'll never think about the gallbladder or the leaky gut or the histamine intolerance. It won't work for them. Then they'll bounce off and do intermittent fasting, and then that will destroy them. And then who knows what other dietary trend they'll be on in the future. Struggling and in pain and in discomfort and sick and allergies and all this nonsense. So the other reason why people don't adapt and are sick in general is because they have low stomach acid. Low stomach acid is a problem in our society. And that is way more common than the gallbladder issue. Super common. So what downregulates your stomach acid? It's not eating enough protein. It's friggin' being catabolic and like working out at 10 o'clock at night, fasted, like exhausted. It's alcohol, a lifetime of drinking alcohol or a lifetime of drinking coffee. What else? Birth control pills, medications, those things, proton pumps, right? These are acid reducing medications that will lower your stomach acid, soda, sugar, carbs, like processed carbohydrates. These are all things that to lower stomach acid. Not getting enough sleep, not getting enough rest, which is another reason why that your gallbladder gets an infection, is not being able to get enough good sleep to be in a homeostatic balance. So your body can't, stop forming stones. So with that said, it's way common. Like, how many people drink coffee? And how many people skip meals? And how many people don't get no sleep? And how many people have been drinking alcohol? And how many, it's just on pharmaceuticals and heavy metal toxicity, and lots of people have this issue. So their HCl levels drop, and then that becomes your protection barrier in many ways. Number one, it helps you absorb the fats. It helps you break down the fats and also absorb the fats. And not only that, the protease and the lipase, and it helps you break down the proteins and the carbs and everything and the fats to be able to heal the body. And a lot of you are not absorbing your fats because you don't have enough enzymes and stomach acid to break down food enough to use it. And then we've got the issues with eating gluten. Those things will also downregulate your ability to digest foods. And yeah. So if you're not absorbing your fat and your fat soluble vitamins, you're not going to adapt. So then if you go like years and years and years with low stomach acid, then what happens is, autoimmunity kicks in and you try to lose weight, but you can't because your cells don't get the equipment that they need because you're not able to absorb your fat soluble vitamins, you're not able to make viable ketones, you're not able to make acetoacetate, you're not able to make beta hydroxybutyrate, viable, usable forms of these units of fat, and you don't adapt because your stomach acids are too low, and you're inflamed because you've got different types of parasites like Giardia, or you'll have different types of Candida, or you'll be largely affected by Candida albicans, which is one particular kind of Candida that's growing all over the body, and you're inflamed. And so the body, when it's inflamed, it's like, I need to deal with the fire and not somebody trying to do this keto thing because they want to get lean and aesthetic. That's not going to happen. So those are the main reasons. And also, y'all eat your food too fast. Yeah, that's a problem. And then you eat your foods too late. The body doesn't digest very well at night because it wants to hibernate so you can repair. So when you eat, it doesn't digest fully. And that's another reason why you don't adapt, is because you're not absorbing and using these fats. All right, I'm going to take your guys' comments. Oh, and people with gastric bypass, it's a nightmare, them doing keto. Like, it's possible, but you got to be incredibly diligent and disciplined, not only with the timing of your foods, the type, the amount, but like how much you sit down and literally eat as slow as possible. All right, I'm going to take your guys' questions and concerns, and then I'm out. Coming in a little late. Hey, Steph, Deborah, everyone. Let's see, how late should I eat? And it's our chicks really don't like to be eaten. Most plants don't. All plants don't. Let me see, mushrooms increase candida. Not every species, but most of the species. You see, mushroom pie, vegans, carnivore, whatever. Yep, butter, mushrooms are good, right? Do we get K2 from food, or you get K2 from food? Why would you supplements? Supplements are just supposed to mimic nature, so we just go nature bound, right? We just do the nature instead and get our K2 from animal sources, especially the liver. Yes. Y'all don't have heart attacks, right? Get some K2. Men, you don't want to go bald with calcium deposits in your scalp, right? Because that shuts the blood supply off to the hair follicles. So eat some liver and get some high K2 to like disperse the calcium deposits. Yes, you can do keto without any gallbladder. And I've worked with, now I know, you guys have been coaching for years. So, now I have worked with so many people without a gallbladder. It is 100% possible. But again, it's just like the people with gastric bypass. You have to be diligent on making sure that you've got enough stomach acid. You've got to be very, very sure that if you're having the symptoms, because some people, they can do keto full on, over 200 grams of fat with a 0 gallbladder and have no gallbladder symptoms because the body finds a way to hold them salts in some people. Some people know. And then they have to be very, very careful how much fat they eat in one meal and how how fast they eat their food, and if they're using ox bile or betaine HCl or digestive enzymes, which we don't like to be on these digestive aids all the time, unless you have unless you have no gallbladder. But things like to encourage digestion in the stomach, you need to be on those and go off of those. You just don't stay on like probiotics and supplements forever unless it's the gallbladder with ox bile salts. Okay, unless you are a stay-at-home mom or you are what? A coach or somehow self-employed? I don't know, you must be answering somebody else. What is sauerkraut good for? It's got bacteria on it. It's fermented food, and you know when bacteria grows, it can actually help repopulate the gut. But if you have a leaky gut, which is sorry, that was the last one that makes you not be able to or absorb your fats, is holes in the small intestine, which I lightly touched on. But sauerkraut, you can't just eat sauerkraut if you've got small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. You'll be like pregnant looking and feeling, you know, fully bent over and feeling like you got to go to the hospital. Not everyone, but a lot of people. Okay, I know. See some blah blah blah. Is it better to clarify? But my butter. Now there's two different types of arguments on clarifying your butter, which is cooking it over a long period of time and making it into ghee. I assume that's what you're asking. To just then eating, let's say, raw butter, because some people cannot deal with the whey and casein, even though there's very tiny amounts in butter. There's less in butter than there is in cream. There's less in cream than there is in sour cream. There's than in milk, whatever. But at the end of the day, we only want butter, and you have to make sure that you can tolerate it. You don't have a histamine issue with the milk proteins, but also cooking it so it sort of cooks down a little bit. Clarifying it helps a little bit with these the whey and casein, but some people have it the sensitivity is so bad it just doesn't matter how much you clarify it. Hi, Stephanie, Sydney from Florida. I was having these issues until I found you. Thank you. Third day on it, and I'm feeling great. Oh, that's awesome. For what? High blood pressure? What about high blood pressure? I don't know. I said it a long time ago. Eating some lamb kidney bone broth soup now. Oh, that's awesome, Rebecca. You guys know I'm really high on the organ meats because they have a lot more of the fat soluble vitamins. That's why people talk about eating nose to tail, because you see in this area right there, that's where all the organs are, and you're going to get a lot more vitamins and minerals. Like, the problem is a lot of you have developed thyroid issues and you're super malabsorptive, so you need like fat soluble vitamins and you need minerals to give to the thyroid gland. And then you have to have rest so you don't, over tweak the adrenal system to heal the thyroid. And so we got to dig deeper why some of you are not adapting and why some of you are actually gaining weight, because you're not actually absorbing the fat, especially if you have greasy stool and floating stool. That's a huge problem why a lot of you guys are not keto adapting. And yeah, clarifying the butter will compromise the nutrients in it to some varying degree. Difficult to eat after 6 p.m. Most of us leave work at 5:30. So for people who leave work at like 5:30 and it takes them an hour to drive home, I'm like, I'm sorry, eat. If it takes you an hour, eat slowly in the car or eat before you leave work, and then you'll just have like a bone broth when you get home or like a fatty tea when you get home, rather than eating a full meal at 8 o'clock, because some of that food's going to be partially digested and not fully digested, and you can't adapt like that. It makes your blood sugar go like this. So I do other streams and videos about not adapting due to blood sugar dysregulation, but today is about not being able to absorb your fat, and that's one of the biggest reasons why a lot of you guys can't get the gains, because that's how I titled the video. You can't get lean, you can't burn fat, because you're not actually making or producing enough viable ketones to then teach the brain to burn fat, right? Because that's the first step. Eat dietary fat. High fat's a high fat diet, not a high protein diet. Now these idiots keep telling you that it's a high protein. It's not. It's a high fat diet. It's actually low carb, moderate to low protein, and a high fat diet. And you need that fat to create ketones. And so, or to teach the body to break down in the enzymatic response to make ketones and use them. And then after that, if you can finally get your stress down and stop trying to intermittent fast, I love it. Some of the people that I just love to death keep doing videos on intermittent fasting, and I really love them. Like, some of them are just wonderful people, but the intermittent fasting thing, if you're just reading studies, I'm going off on a tangent, but if you're just reading studies and you're not making it applicable to real people who've got like hypoglycemia, insulin resistance, adrenal issues, inverted cortisol, like if you don't factor that, pregnenolone steal, if you don't factor in all these issues and then you don't eat, you're not going to go through autophagy if your body's in an inflammatory state, because it doesn't know how to regulate its blood sugar. It's just like, it's not going to happen. So you can't just read a study. That doesn't mean anything if you're talking about just the average person. That's why sometimes I hate these studies. I should do a video on that. Break down all the studies and go like, okay, you've got like Linda Smith, and then you've got like Muhammad over here, or you've got Tyrone, and you got like Juan, because I like to include all the ethnicities. You've got all these people from different cultures who grew up on different types of foods. You got people with different health issues, stress issues, like the gallbladder, right? With a gallbladder. If you've got severe hypoglycemia or insulin resistance or diabetes, and you're like, oh, just don't eat, telling a type 1, hey, just don't eat for 16 hours, because they're not telling you that if you're intermittent fasting as a type 1 diabetic and you don't eat for 22 hours, you might develop some super acidic ketones that could kill you. So you have to put everybody in different types of situations, and you can't feed them all the same, right? You have to feed them food that doesn't give them any type of histamine reaction or gut issue. You have to make sure that they have a gallbladder, and then you test everybody in a controlled fashion as best as you can, the healthiest subjects, and nobody does that. So anyway, let me see. Hi, Stephanie. Definitely have gut issues, and my poop fluctuates from. Oh, a lot of you guys have fluctuating stool. Sometimes it floats, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you're constipated, sometimes you're loose. Definitely sign of some type of gut issue. Fluctuates from constipated to loose. I feel like it's my hormones in that. No. Yes, no. Do you have bad cramps? So that's a question I have. But it's to be honest, like that estrogen in the cycle, that stuff makes nasty bacteria grow a lot during the cycle. So, yes, probably around the time that you're ovulating, you have this like gnarly gut reaction. That's very common. So it is somehow connected to the cycle, but more so to the gut because of the sex hormones. Why are my ketone numbers going down? Sleeping well. You can't say you're sleeping well. That is subjective. Everybody thinks they're sleeping well because they like have adrenal fatigue and they like crash, but they only go to the level 2 or level 3 of sleep depth, and then their blood sugar is running unstable, and then they think that they slept well, and then like they can't understand why their ketones are low when they actually didn't sleep well. They just slept. Heavy whipping cream is, just get rid of the heavy. No, just don't do the cream. You're lucky if you can find fully grass-fed butter. Okay, optimal hours between meals. It depends on what your schedule is. I have people get up and eat right away, because that's going to create like peristalsis, getting your cortisol up and going. It's going to have the middle of the brain, the medulla, the hypothalamus, and pituitary adrenal response start getting blood flow. Let's get it going, because you don't want the cortisol production to be inverted at night, because that will jack your sleep up. So eating a good meal, plus it's the adrenal is telling the rest of the body, the hypothalamus and pituitary is like, okay, we're not starving, so we don't need to crank down the metabolism because you're eating something, right? So chewing, I don't mean drinking your food, I mean eating something, fully digesting it, and then going about your day. So, okay, I've explained this before. This person's like, how do you increase your muscle size if you're eating lower protein, high fat, and lower protein? So, as you guys can see, I gain muscle very easy. I'm 51. I say that all the time because people keep thinking I'm younger. So, I have to announce all the time that people first find my videos are realizing I'm not in my 30s, I'm in my 50s. And so, how am I able to keep my hormones on point? People are like, are you menopausal? No. Have I gone through menopause? No. Am I premenopausal? No. So that's one big reason, because I work my butt off to keep my hormones in balance. Like, I don't play. People are like, oh, I cheat sometimes. I'm like, I don't, because I'm 51. Wiggle room for playing is over. Okay? And I literally diaphragmatic breathe. I meditate. I freaking eat slow. I have to force myself to do all these things that I didn't do before. I'm eating a ton of organ meats. I go very slow at the gym. I get my lymphatic system. I mean, I do everything. So when it comes to building muscle, it's about being ketotic. It's about you must develop insulin sensitivity. So then you don't need as much insulin to drive amino acids. You don't need as much protein anymore to drive the amino acids from the food that you eat into the muscle so they'll grow, because you're going to be in a homeostatic balance. You're not going to be catabolic. You're going to be anabolic. Your hormones are going to be in balance, and then you just grow. Just like you would. You experience hypertrophy and you just grow because you're not catabolic, right? Your body's not going into gluconeogenesis and munching on the... Now, there was this one person commenting on my videos, which I just kind of ignored the comment. You should know better that gluconeogenesis is not the blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, you haven't worked with thousands of clients. I have. You cannot use yourself as an example. And I do not use myself as the ketogenic example. I use the average person because my butt is a weirdo, because I am so disciplined, it is redunculous. Okay? I've said videos 5-6 years ago, if I had to eat donkey crap out of its butt because the bacteria would repopulate my gut for some reason, I'd do it without question. There's no issue with me, right? Haven't done sugar in 11 years. Haven't freaking eaten this and done that. I haven't done any of it. But most people cave and they fall off the wagon and they don't work out, or they work out too hard and they don't you know what I'm saying? Like, I run this keto course and I ask this question to everybody: who is still sort of cheating either in the tools, in the habits, whatever? And it was like so many people. And so many people who, because I have Ask Steph days, I'm like, okay, you're wondering why you're not adapted, but you just told me 10 things you're not doing right on this protocol. Can you keto adapt if you don't eat beef or pork? Yes, of course. With some chicken heart and some chicken liver. Just saying. You know what I mean? Okay. You're premenopausal. So if you're premenopausal, and I don't know how old you are, but you know what you want to do. I've had women have they're premenopausal, and all of a sudden the hormones go from like this to this. It's amazing. I've seen women's menstrual cycles come back and be really on point just by making lifestyle changes, like the thought of, oh, I'm going through menopause, or men, your testosterone's dropping, you know, oh, you can't heal the gut, whatever people say that, you know, once you hit this age, it's over. Oh, your stomach acid's dropping when no, you can reverse a lot of the damage and the issues. Not all of the damage, that's for dang sure. But you can reverse a lot of these symptomatic issues just by knowing what the initial problem is, how you created the initial problem. Stop doing the thing that messed you up, right? And just don't run for a supplement and then go and do the same problems, the same poor actions that you did before that created the gallbladder and the kidney stones and the liver, the thickness of the liver, and the estrogen caught in the liver, or fattiness rather. Mindful eating pork down between bites and chew. Yes. You know, you gotta chew over 30 times, turn that stuff into liquid, right? It's gotta be the texture of, not oatmeal, I think it should be the texture of grits, like really liquidy. Then you swallow. Okay, guys, don't forget to like up the stream. There's a whole 71 people here in my chat. I almost have like 100K subscribers, but I think it might be the timing as well. But I do appreciate all the people that have come to this video. I think dry egg yolks, free range, and it tasted good. Yeah, I don't know what the, like, raw meat doesn't taste bad. Uh, why am I getting text right now? Lord have mercy. Anyway, I think it's time to go. Don't forget to like up the stream, hit the X, and you'll see the thumbs up. Click on that thumbs up, and then you'll see all these icons. You hit on the chat window, and it'll open you back up to show some love to this channel, to bring people here. Forgive me for the quality of my Wi-Fi. I am still working on it, as I am working on 20,000 things, but the Wi-Fi quality, it's not my phone, it's a good phone, it's not the lens or anything like that. It's always the Wi-Fi signal that creates the sort of, it goes pixelated, it likes to focus over there, which annoys the crap out of me. You can use that Precision Extra or any glucometer, your Freestyle or Abbott, or even, what is the other one called? It's called a hello stuff. It's called a, I can't think of it right now. Think about the text I just got. Anyway, let's see here. Mojo, that's the one. You test it for about a month. You test your ketones only in the morning, because if you test in the afternoon, it's by what you ate. It's not from body fat, so it's a subjective number. You can test the most objective glucose numbers also should be fasted. You should probably test every day for 4 weeks. And if you've been doing it for months, then you can test twice a week or once a week, or take a break for 3 weeks. You can test your glucose 2 hours after meals. You can test your glucose post-workout by 20 to 30 minutes. And you can test, sort of as a very rough gauge, to food sensitivities by testing your glucose around your food timing and how long after. People with better audio don't have as good contact. Eating my liver. Mojo, you look fine. Okay. When I do the live streams, it doesn't pixelate. It's when people see the replay, it's very pixelated. So with that said, thank you everyone for joining this chat. I'm going to go, because, like, you know, as sanctimonious and, you know, self-righteous, and who knows how I appear on a live stream, I actually stay longer because I feel bad to get off. And I've got to learn some Stephanie self-control. So you guys, I do consultations. I'm full booked. Tonight I'm supposed to release new dates, so I better get off this stream and do that. I'm also supposed to promote my mechanic, who's awesome. But I was like, dude, you have to, like, he just hooked up my car. I was like, you need to get your Instagram and your Facebook perfect, make sure all the names match, and then I will blast you on my social media. So I'm going to talk about him now. Okay. He's called what was he called? I can't go into my text and see what he's called. But his name is Dave Wave. So if you guys are in the Los Angeles area, he is an amazing, and I mean amazing, mechanic. But now I have to actually, you know, put something together for him, because I don't promote people. And in fact, the people that I promote, to be honest, you guys, are people that are just good people. Like, I'm not promoting businesses that I don't care about. I don't barely monetize videos. The live streams are monetized because you hit one button and every live stream becomes monetized. But my normal videos, I don't monetize them. Let me see. Sorry guys, women issues. She doesn't own sweeteners. I still have stevia in my cabinet, but I haven't eaten it in almost 3 years now. Breast tenderness all month with skip cycle, still suffering with that, but bloating is gone away, switching butter. Michelle, yes. Michelle, it could be the butter, right? You might have to take out your butter. You might have to do sort of a carnivore type of diet, and even rotate your foods more so on, and if your cycle, and here's the thing, Michelle, your stress isn't gone. Because if your stress is high and you have this adrenal overload, and if you're coming with prior damage and then you're eating one mono food all the time, that your body has a histamine response to, it can create this estrogen dominance and have you bleed a lot. So it's not keto, it's your application of it. And there's extra work that you have to do, Michelle, to stop the hemorrhaging, literally. You know, you have to get your stress down. You have to go to bed early. You have to diaphragmatic breathe. You have to do these things. You have to not argue with people. You have to rotate and test foods, because if you don't do that, then you have to go off keto. It's cold in LA at the moment. It's not as cold. It's probably like 59 degrees right now. You know what I mean? And at night it dips into the 40s, but it's not like the rest of the country. And next week it's going to be back in the 70s. So like whatever. 5 months new on Steph's keto approved, and lost 1.5 kilograms. Most probably my body needed to do that. Yeah. Probably. I would like to know more with CS if you're a woman or a male. But on that note, I think I have to go. And thank you, Deborah, because Deborah's been trying to answer people's questions when I can't see them. I almost only see things in caps if I'm standing at a different distance. Brice, hi, Brice. All right, so it's time for me to bounce, because I got so much to do. People are like, have you done this? Have you done that? Have you done that? I'm putting together this video, and the guy who's editing my video was like, have you gone through the music catalog? And I was like, oh, I have too much to do. You know, I've got to finish writing my new meal plans. As you guys know, I've learned a frack ton, and the best that I love is that because I have clients, and I've been working with clients for years, with people for years and years and years. So if you guys want to book a consultation, go to stephanieperson.com, or you can join my keto course, which it's a course, and that's only $15 a month. You can go 1 month or 20 months, or you can just go to my Instagram or Facebook, which is all free, which is Stephanie Ketogenic for my Instagram, and Stephanie the Business Person on my Facebook, and all that. Well, point is that when you're constantly talking health and you're constantly working with people and you're not running labs, because I don't do that, then you have to go by symptoms. And that plays a massive role in understanding what's going on, because if you work with 3,000 people and you start drawing the lines, oh, they have this, and then they have that, and then I study this, and then I learn that, and then it all comes together quite amazingly. So, which makes me create more avenues for you guys to learn, because I think sometimes putting what's going on in our bodies in a language that works universally, so you don't become either bored or confused. And you guys know I sit mostly on a ketogenic subject. I'm also creating a lot of just low carb, high fat protocols. Like that'll be a new plan on my site, because either you can transition to keto, or you can bounce out of keto, or you can stay at low carb, high fat. But if you don't put it in a language where people understand and how to apply it to your whole life, right? And not just run to a supplement. How do I fix this stuff naturally? How do I use supplements or plants as an aid and then get off of it? Not all plants, but like, you know, certain types of herbs and things of this nature to help, but not stay on it. But anyway, you guys, it's 43 minutes. I need to be quiet. Have a great evening. And thank you guys for watching the video with my mom. A lot of people have asked about her over the years. So I was like, I'll just put together the video so you guys can see that my mom is relatively healthy. She's in her 70s, and she went through a glioblastoma, and people who are my age group are in their 50s and have like parents who are in their 70s and 80s and older. It feels so weird to say that, right? Like, because I'm so young, and then like my mom's kind of so young, so like when we do videos together, she's the one in her 50s, and then I'm the one in my 20s and 30s, but it's really not. She's actually older. Just trying to keep her mentally happy will keep the body mentally happy. And I think that is playing the biggest role with my mom today. Is, you know, my mom wants a boyfriend, and she's kind of lonely, and, you know, she fell, silly mother fell, and so like she didn't break her hip or anything, but it's like, you know, it just irritates her. So she's not, my mom walks every day, so now it's like irritating her, and then she's not walking as much, and then she gets more depressed. So yeah, you know how it is with parents. But anyway, thank you guys. Thank you for everybody who's always been really supporting me. Thank you, Brice. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, everyone who keeps chiming in on these live streams, and even though the quality sucks. but the quality here in this person does not suck. So thank you. I will go more into the different systems of why you're not digesting your fat soluble vitamins, therefore you're not making ketones. If your stool's floating, you're not adapting, like it's over. And going more into leaky gut and histamine issues and diamine oxidase and oxalobacter and having issues with digesting oxalates, and how spinach is like on my meal plans, but I've got to put a lot of disclaimers there so you guys understand to look for the symptoms of oxalates, because oxalates are a really big problem. Sort of duly and well needed for ketogenic diets, but then really bad if you guys have any type of bacteria deficiencies and you can't digest oxalates. So these are the things that make it very complicated for me to coach. So then I've got to find ways around it. You just can't do carnivore. You've got to do keto carnivore because you're going to be electrolyte deficient, and you're going to have issues with producing enough ketones, and some of the gut problems go away, but then you're tired all the time, and then that affects your adrenals, and that affects your thyroid, and then your hair starts falling out, and then your testosterone drops. Okay? So I just try to put in, package everything into a language that works for the everyday person, and not go into a bunch of science. Because I think that's Chris Masterjohn, who's brilliant, is his biggest problem. Dude, nobody's going to understand you if you just keep rattling off pure science. Okay? All right, guys, thank you so much for this broadcast, or live stream. It's a live stream, for joining it. And I'll be back. I'm going to put this live stream on private until tomorrow. So I have a new video that will play tomorrow. Bye, guys. Get some energy. And yes, you can build muscle on keto. And yes, you can balance your hormones. And this is not my genetics. This is epigenetics. I made this happen. Without all this hard work, I would not have this body. Okay? And I'm out. Thank you. I did try, right? I did try. I do have melasma, but I do try. Peace. Skin's good. I just have hyperpigmentation. Boom! And I'm out. Yeah, that's what's up.